'Twas upon this fashion bequeathed me by will, but poor 1,000 crowns, and charged my brother on his blessing to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home, or to speak more properly, stays me here at home unkept. For call ye that keeping for a gentleman of my birth, that differs not from the stalling of an ox. His horses are bred better, for besides that they are fair with their feeding, they are taught their manage, and to that end riders dearly hired. But I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth, for the which his animals on his dunghills are as much bound to him as I. Besides this, nothing that he so plentifully gives me, the something that nature gave me, his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, minds my gentility with my education. But this is it that grieves me, and the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it. Though yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Now, sir, what make you here? What make you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I'm helping you to mar that which God made. A poor, unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed, and be not a while.
What shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them?
Know you where you are, sir?
Aye, sir. Very well, here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
Aye. Better than him I am before knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. The courtesy of nations allows you my better in that you are firstborn, but the same tradition takes not away my blood from me were there 20 brothers betwixt us. I have as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess your coming before is nearer to his reverence.
What wilt thou do? Lay hands on me, villain.
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. He charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, hiding and obscuring from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father rose strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor lottery my father left me by testament. With that I will go and buy my fortunes.
What wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in. I shall not long be troubled with you. I pray you, leave me.
I will no further offend you than becomes me for my good.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me? I will physic your rankness, and yet give no 1,000 crowns neither.
Charles, the Duke's wrestler, importunes access to you.
Good Mr. Charles.
Good morning, your worship.
What's the new news at the new court?
There's no news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old duke is banished by his younger brother, the new duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have put themselves into voluntary exile with him, whose lands and revenues much enrich the new duke. Therefore, he gives them good leave to wander.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the old duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh no, for the duke's daughter, her cousin so loves her, being ever from their cradles bred together, that she would have followed her exile or have died to stay behind her. She is at the court, and no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter. and never have two ladies loved as they do.
Where will the old Duke live?
And they say he is already at the Forest of Arden, and a many merry men with him, and there they live like the old Robin Hood of England.
What, you wrestle tomorrow before the new Duke?
Marry, do I, sir, and I came to acquaint you with a matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando had the disposition to come in against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that shall escape me without some broken limb shall acquit him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love I would loathe to foil him, as I must for my own honour if he come in. Therefore, out of my love to you, I came to acquaint you with all, that either you stay him from his intendment, or brook such disgrace well as he shall run into, in that is a thing of his own search, and altogether against my will.
Charles,
Mm-hmm.
I thank you for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I had myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have by underhand means laboured to dissuade him from it. But he is resolute. Therefore, use thy discretion. I had his lief. Thou dost break his neck as his finger. And thou art best look to it. For if thou dost him any slight disgrace, or if he does not grace himself mightily upon thee, he will practice against thee by some indirect means or other. For I assure thee, and almost with tears I speak it, there is not one so young and villainous this day living. I speak but brotherly of him, but should I anatomize him to you as he is, I must blush and weep, and thou must look pale and wonder.
Oh, I am heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment. If he ever go alone again, I'll never wrestle for prize more. And so, God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. I hope I shall see an end of him, for my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle, never schooled, yet learned, full of noble device, of all sorts enchantingly beloved, and indeed so much in the heart of the world, and especially of mine own people, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be so long. This wrestler shall clear all.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my cuz, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of. And would you yet I were merrier? But unless you can teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
But herein I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I loved thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke my father, so thou hadst been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I'll forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have, and truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I'll render thee again in affection. By mine honor, I will. And when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be buried.
From henceforth I will. 'Cause, and devise sports. Let me see. What think you of falling in love,
Ooh, marry, I prithee do to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport, neither than with safety of a pure blush thou mayst in honour come off again.
Well, what then will be our sport?
Mistress!
Down!
You must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, but I was bid to come for you.
By mine honor, where learned you that oath, fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honor that the pancakes were good, and swore by his honor that the mustard was not. Now, I'll stand to it. The pancakes were not, and the mustard was good, and yet was not this knight forsworn.
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Aye, marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now, stroke your chins and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
Oh, no, by our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that that is not, you are not forsworn. Nor was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any. Or, if he had sworn it away long before ever he saw that mustard or those pancakes.
Yes, excellent.
Who is that thou meanst?
One that old Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love should be enough to honor him. Enough! Speak no more of him. He'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest true. For since the little wit that fools do have with silence, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Madame the Belle! Bonjour!
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
What colour, madam? How shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destinies decrees.
Well said. That was laid on with a trowel.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, but you have lost the sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyships, you may see the end. For the best is yet to do, and here where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Oh, well, the beginning that is dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons. The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs. There is little hope of life in him. So he served the 2nd, and so the 3rd. Yonder they lie, the poor old father, making such pitiful dole over them. All the beholders take their part with weeping.
Is there any else longs to see this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
Oh, well, you must if you stay here, for here is the place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
Let us now stay and see it.
Come, since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Yonder the man.
Even he, madam.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
Oh, now, daughter and cousin. You crept hither to see the wrestling.
And my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There are such odds in the man. Yet he is a challenge as a youth. I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, lady. See if you can move him.
Oh, no.
Touchstone. Call him hither, good Madame Lebeau.
Monsieur the Challenger, a princess calls for you.
Attend them with all respect and duty.
Young gentleman, have you challenged Charles the Wrestler?
No, fair princess. He is a general challenger. I come but in as others do to try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentleman, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. Your reputation shall not, therefore, be misprized, for we will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial. Wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shame that was never gracious. Killed but one dead that is willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. I shall do the world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world do I fill up a place that may be better supplied, when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
Mine to eke out hers.
Where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
Ready, sir? With his will happen it, a more modest working.
You shall try but one fall.
No! I warrant your grace, and I'll treat him to a second, that have so mightily persuaded him from a first.
You mean to mock me, won't you? You have mocked me before. But come your ways.
Hercules be thy speed, young man.
Fight! Round one!
Excellent, young man!
If I had a thunderbolt in mine eye, I can tell who should down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You win.
No more. No more.
Yes, I beseech your grace. I'm not yet well breathed.
How does that, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away.
You lose.
What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege.
Orlando.
Orlando, my liege. The youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
Wouldst thou had been son to some man else? The world esteemed thy father honourable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou wouldst have pleased me better with this deed, had thou descended from another house, but fare thee well. Thou art a gallant youth. Now wouldst thou have told me of another father?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
Were I my father, cuz, would I do this?
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I before known this young man, his son, I should have given him tears unto entreaties ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir? You have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love, but justly as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Good gentleman, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune, who could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Will you go, cuz?
Aye. Farewell for a gentleman.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a quintain. A mere lifeless block.
He called us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir?
Oh, I am.
Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well?
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot talk to her though she urged conference. Poor Orlando. Thou art overthrown.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause and love. Yet such is now the Duke's condition, that he misconsters all that you have done. The Duke is humorous. What he is indeed more suits you to conceive than I to speak of.
Thank you, ma'am. And I pray you, tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke that here was at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners. But yet, indeed, the smaller is his daughter, the other's daughter to the banished Duke, and here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose love's is dearer than the natural bond of sisters.
Rest much bound into you, and fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from a tyrant Duke into a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind.
My cousin! Why, Rosalind! Cupid, have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
Oh, no, thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me. Come, lame me with reasons.
Then there will be two cousins laid up, when the one should be lame with reasons, and the other mad without any.
Is all this for your father?
Oh, some of it is for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this working day world?
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
Oh, I would try if I could cry and have him.
Come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
A good wish upon you. But turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible on such a sudden you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Does it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase, I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Roland.
No, Faith, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and do you love him because I do.
Ah! Ah!
Mistress? Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin. Within these 10 days, if that thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. Never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend
Thus
your
do
highness.
all traitors. If their purgation did consist in words they're as innocent as grace itself, let it suffice. I trust thee not.
But your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. That's enough.
So was I when your highness took his duke. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or if we could derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then, good my liege, mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Your sovereign, hear me speak.
I, Celia, we stayed her for your sake, as had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. If she be a traitor, why so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together, and where we went like Juno's swans, still went we coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee. and her smoothness, her very silence and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
Thou art a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon mine honour, and in the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind. Whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee. Be not thou more grieved than I am.
Have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee, be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love that teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Therefore, devise with me how we may fly, whither to go and what to bear with us, and do not seek to take this change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out.
Whither will we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger would it be to us, maids as we are, to walk so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better? Because that I am more than common tall, that I should suit me all points like a man. A gallant curtal axe upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there whatever woman's fear their will. We'll have a swashing and a martial outside that many other mannish cowards have that do outface it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
Oh, I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page. Therefore, look you, call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliana.
Aliana. Because, what if we escaped to steal the clownish fool from out your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
He'll go along o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now, go we in content to liberty
and not to banishment.
How now, my co-mates? My co-mate! Brother in exile! Hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here, feel we not the penalty of Adam? The season's difference, and icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is not flattery. These are counsellors that feelingly persuade me what I am. And this, our life, free from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
And a sermons in stones, and a sermons in stones, and a scuba dooba 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 in everything. I would not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, should we go kill us venison?
Yeah.
And yet it irks me that the poor dappled fools, as native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines, with forked heads, have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord. The melancholy Jaques grieves at that, and in that coin swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today I did steal after this she lay under an oak, whose antique root peeps out upon the brook that brawls along this wood, to the which place a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a hort did come to languish. And indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans that her discharge did stretch his leathern coat almost to bursting, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase, and thus the hairy fool, much marked of the melancholy Jaques, stood on the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
And what said Jaques? Did she not moralise the spectacle?
Oh, yes, into 1,000 similes.
Did you leave her in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope her in these sullen fits, for then she's full of matter.
We'll bring you to her straight.
Can it be possible no man saw them?
I cannot hear of any that did see her.
No?
The ladies, her attendants of a chamber, saw her a bed, and in the morning early they found the bed untreasured of the mistress.
And?
My lord, the roish clown at whom your grace was wont to laugh is also missing. Hesperia, the princess's gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly overheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles.
And
she believes wherever they are that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Bring that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. I will make him find him. Do this suddenly. Let not search or inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
What's the matter?
O unhappy youth, come not within these doors, within this roof. The enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother hath your praises heard, and means this night to burn the lodging where you lie, and you within it. Do not enter.
What, wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Or the base and boisterous sword and force the thievish living on the common road? But this I must do, or know not what to do, yet this I will not do, do how I can. I'd rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits.
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary. Oh, yes, yes.
I could find it in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and cry like a woman. But I must comfort the weaker vessel, as doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
Oh, I pray you, bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I had rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the Forest of Arden.
Aye, now am I in Arden. The more fool I. When I was at court, I was in a better place. But travelers must be content.
Aye, be so good, Touchstone.
Phoebe.
Hide.
Or not Phoebe. Hey, Phoebe. Or not Phoebe. Phoebe.
Hilvius.
Or not Phoebe. Huh? Oh. Right.
That is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewst, I do love her.
Oh, I partly guess, for I have loved ere now.
No, Corin, being old, thou canst not guess, Phoebe. That when thou youth, thou was as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But I love whatever like to mine. Now, sure, I think that never man loved so. How many actions, most ridiculous, hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
To 1,000 that I have forgotten.
No, thou still never loved then so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that love did ever make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearing thy hero and thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Phoebe. Phoebe. Phoebe.
What was that? Jesus.
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
Mine. I remember when I was in love, I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him take that for coming a knight to Jane's smile. And I remember the kissing of her battlers and the cow's dogs her pretty chopped hands did milk. And I remember the wooing of a peace cod instead of her, from whom I took 2 cods, and giving them her again, said with weeping tears, "Wear these for my sake." We that are true lovers went into strange capers. But as is all mortal in nature, so is all love in nature mortal in folly.
Thou speakst wiser than thou art ware of.
Pray you, one of you question yon man. If he for gold will give us food, I faint almost to death.
Holla!
He's not thy kinsman.
You clown!
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
Well, else are they very wretched.
Yes, I say. Good evening to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir. And to you all.
I pray you, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a poor maid of travel, much oppressed, and faints for succour. Faints for succour. Faints for succour.
Oh, fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than for mine own, my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I'm shepherd to another man, and do not shear the fleeces that I graze.
Oh.
My master is of churlish disposition, and little recks to find his way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flocks, and bounds of feed are now on sale, and in our sheep cut now. By reason of his absence, there is nothing that you may feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice, most welcome shall you be.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. If you like upon report the soil, the profit, and this kind of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold, right suddenly.
Great.
For winter and a rough
More. I prithee more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. Come, more. I prithee more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come. More, another stanzo. Call you 'em stanzos?
What you will, Madame Jaques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Come, will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well then, if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. But what they call a compliment is like the encounter of two dog apes. When a man thanks me heartily, methinks I have given him a penny, and he renders me a beggarly thanks. Come, will you sing? And you that will not hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. The Duke hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He's too disputable for my company. Yeah, I think of as many matters as him, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, warble, come.
I'll go seek the Duke.
I will preserve myself. And methought to take the basest and most poorest shape that ever penury in contempt of man brought near to beast. My face I grind with filth, and with presented nakedness outface the winds and persecutions of the sky. But the country gives me proof and precedent of bedlam beggars who enforce their charity.
I think Jaques be turned into a beast, for I can nowhere find her like a man.
Madame, here was she, hearing of a song.
Go and seek her. Tell her I would speak with her.
Hey!
How now, madame? What life is this? Your poor friends must woo your company. Yeah, you look merrily.
A fool. A fool. I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool. Oh, miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms, in good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, ma'am, quoth he, call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking at it with lackluster eye, says very wisely, "It is 10 o'clock.
What?
It is 10 o'clock.
Oh.
Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 more hour 'twill be 11. And so, from hour to hour we ripe and ripe, and yet from hour to hour we rot and rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like Chanticleer that fools should be so deep contemplative, and I did laugh. Sun's intermission, an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool, worthy fool, motley's the only wear.
What fool is this?
A worthy fool. One that had been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, we had strange places crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool. I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit. Provided that you weed your better judgment of all opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. No, I must have liberty, with all as large a charter as the wind to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. Invest me in my motley.
Yeah.
Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Fie on thee, I can tell what thou would do.
What for a counter would I do but good?
Most mischievous foul sin in chiding sin. For thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the brutish sting itself, and all the embossed sores and headed evils that thou, with liberty of free foot, hast caught, wilt thou disgorge into the general world.
Forbear.
But who comes here?
Forbear, and eat no more.
I have eaten none yet.
Thou shalt not, till necessity be served.
What kind should this cock come of?
Art thou thus boldened, man, by thy distress, or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemst so empty?
You touch my vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath ta'en from me the show of a smooth civility, yet am I indolent bred and know some nurture, but forbear, I say, till I in my affairs are answer it.
What would you have your gentleness shall force, more than your force move us to gentleness? Sit down, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, lose and neglect the creeping hours of time. If ever you have looked on better days, if ever sat at any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear and know what 'tis to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be.
True it is, we have seen better days. We sat at good men's feasts, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered, and therefore sit you down in gentleness. And take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Oh, cool.
Now, Jaques, thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage. And all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages. first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school. Then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then the soldier, full of strange odes and bearded like the pard, jealous in honour, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, with fair round belly and good capon lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The sixth stage shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose, well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank and big manly voice, turning again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history. His second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Set down your burden and let him feed.
I thank you for it.
Welcome. All two. I will not trouble you, except to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousin sing.
Under the greenwood tree, loves lie with me. Turn this merry note into the sweet.
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithfully you are, and as my eyes doth his effigies witness most truly limbed and living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune, go to my cave and tell me. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
And around the world.
Not see him since. Sir, that cannot be. But were I not the better part made mercy, I would not seek an absent argument of my revenge, thou present. But look to it. Find out thy brother wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle. Bring him dead or living within this 12-month, or look no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy lands and all things thou dost possess, worth seizure, do we seize into our hands till thou canst quit thee of thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. Well, push him out of doors. And let my offices of such a nature make extent upon your house and lands. We do this expediently, and turn you going.
No!
Hang there my verse in witness of my love. And thou, thrice crowned queen of night, survey with thy chaste eye from thy pale sphere above thy huntress name that my full life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, and carve in every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
And how like you this shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. As it is a solitary life, I like it very well. But in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect that it is in the fields, it pleaseth me well. But as it is not in court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it suits my humor well. But as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more, but that I know the more one sickens, the worse it easy is. And he that wants money, means, and content is without three good friends. The property of rain is to wet, fire to burn, a good pasture makes fat sheep, that a great cause of the night is lack of the sun. That he that have learned no wit by art nor nature may complain of good breeding, or else come of a very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Was ever at court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned.
For not being at court? Your reason?
Why, if thou wast never at court, thou never sawest good manners. And if thou never sawest good manners, thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Oh, thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a wet touchstone. Those that are good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as the behaviour of the country is most mockable at the court.
Oh.
You told me you salute not at the court, but that you kiss your hands. That courtesy would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance. Come, briefly, instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes. And their fells, you know, are greasy.
Why, do not your courtiers' hands sweat? And is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Oh, shallow, shallow. A better instance, I say. Come,
Besides, our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again. Oh, a more sounder instance, I say. Come.
And they're often tarred over with the surgery of our sheep. And would you have us kiss tar? The courtier's hands are scented with civet.
Most shallow man. Thou worm's meat in respect of a good piece of flesh. Learn this of the wise and perpend. Civet is of a baser birth than tar, the very uncleanly flocks of a cat. Mend the instance, shepherd.
Oh, you're too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Oh, wilt thou rest damned? God help thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee. Thou art raw.
Sir, I'm a true labourer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear. Oh, no man hate. Envy, no man's happiness. Content with my harm, glad of other men's good. And the greatest of my pride is to see my lambs suck and my ewes graze.
That is another simple sin in you. To bring the ewes and the rams together and to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle. To be bawd to a bellwether and to betray a she-lamb of a 12-month to a crooked-pated old cuckoldy ram out of all reasonable match. If thou be not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. I can't see how else thou shouldst escape.
Stone.
Ah, there's Master Ganymede. Reading.
From the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
Oh, I will rhyme you so 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted. It is the very butterwoman's rank to market. Oh,
out, fool.
Oh, for a taste. If a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Wintered garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. He that reap must sheaf and bind, then to cart with
Rosalind.
Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is
Rosalind.
He that true love's flower would find must find love's prick. And
Rosalind.
And
Rosalind.
Hey.
This is the very false gallop of verse. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Okay, peace, dull fool. I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
Annie, peace. Here comes my sister. Reading.
At every sentence end will I, Rosalinda, write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite heaven would in little show. Therefore, ever nature charged that one body should be filled with all the graces wide enlarged. Nature presently distilled.
Oh, most gentle Jupiter, what a tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal. Never cried, have patience, good people.
How now? Back, friends. Shepherd, go off a little. Go with him, Sirrah.
Come, shepherd. Let us make an honorable retreat, though not with bag and baggage, but with scrip and scrippage.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them. And more too, for some of them had more feet in them than the verses would bear.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you came, for look here what I found on a palm tree.
Oh, true you who have done this.
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Change your color?
Nay, prithee, who?
Oh, Lord, Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet, but mountains may be removed with earthquakes and so encounter.
Nay, prithee, who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, just I think that because I am caparisoned like a man that I have a Dublin nose in my disposition, 1 inch more of delay is a sad sea of discovery. I prithee, tell me who it is, quickly, and speak apace. Oh, I once thou couldst stammer, that thou mightst pour this concealed man out of thy mouth like wine out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I might drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly?
What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat? Is his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Oh. Why, God will send more if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard. If you delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
Oh, it is young Orlando who tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart broke in an instant.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas the day. What will I do with my Dublin hose? What said he when thou sawest him? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
Oh, you must borrow me gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. To say I and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
Does he know that I am in this forest and in man's apparel? Looked he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as it is to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree like a dropped acorn.
Oh, yeah, I'll call it Jove's tree when it bringeth forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he stretched along like a wounded knight.
Oh, that would be pity to see such a sight. It well becomes the ground.
Cry holla to thy tongue, I prithee, it curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous. He comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden, thou bringst me out of tune.
Do you not know that I am a woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out.
No.
Soft. Comes he not here?
Dizzy. Slink by and note him.
Thank you for your company, but good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone.
And so had I. But yet for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you. Mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you, mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favouredly.
Rosalind's thy love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers. Have you not been acquainted with wives and conned them out of rings?
Not so. But I answer you, right painter cloth, from whence you have studied your questions.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me? And we two will rail against the mistress, our world, and all our miseries.
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I would not change for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in and you shall find him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
Oh, tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Madame Melancholy. I'm yours. Don't you want to come on? Scooch on over closer, dear, and I will nibble your ear. So what you want?
Speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit, play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forrester?
Very well. Sorry. What would you?
Prithee.
Yeah?
What is to clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There is no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest. Else, sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
Where dwell you, pretty you?
With Miss Shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe on a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase and so remove the dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed, you tell him that an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak. That was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I've heard him read many lectures against it, and thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offences as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
But can you remember any of the principal evils that he hath laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all like one another, as halfpence are. Each one fault seeming monstrous until its fellow fault came along to match it.
But prithee recount some of them.
Nay, I will not cast away my physic on those that are not sick.
Physic?
There is a man, haunts the forest, who abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind. Rosalind? in their box.
Yeah.
Hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies upon brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I'd give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am that he that is so love-shaken. I pray thee, tell me your remedy.
There are none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes. I'm sure you're not prisoner.
Well, what were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. But I pardon you for that, for your simply having a beard is but a younger brother's revenue.
Oh, cheers. Yeah.
Well, then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbandaged, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements. As loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me? Believe it? Well, you would sooner make her that you love believe it. Which I warrant she is apter to do than to confess that she does. That's one of the points in which women still give their lie to their consciences. But, in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees, wherein Rosalind is so much admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, with that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Well, neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is nearly madness, and deserves as much a dark house and a whip as madmen do.
Why?
The only reason that they are not so punished and cured is because the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet, I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes. One. And in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress.
You.
Yeah. And I charged him every day to come to my coat and woo me. At which point would I, being but a moonish youth, green, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of smiles, full of tears, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything. as boys and women are, but for the most part, cattle of this colour. Now like him, now loathe him, now entertain him, now forswear him, now weep for him, now spit at him, that I drave my suitor from this mad humour of love to a living humour of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him. and so will I, thank you, so will I undertake me to wash your liver, clean as a sound sheep's heart.
that there will not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you. If you would but call me Rosalind and come to my coat today and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I will show you. And, by the way, you can tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, fair youth.
Nay, but you must call me Rosalind.
Oh. With all my heart, fair Rosalind.
Come, sister. Will we go?
Take me for what I am, who I was meant to be. And if you give a damn, take me, baby, and leave me. Take me. Audrey! Oh God, oh no. Audrey. Audrey. Come apace, good Audrey. I will fetch up thy goats, Audrey. And how, Audrey? Am I the man yet? Doth my simple features content thee? Oh, your features! Lord warrant us, what features? I am with thee and thy goats, as the most capricious poet honest Ovid was amongst the Goths.
Oh, knowledge ill-inhabited worse than Jove in a thatched house.
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded by the forward child, understanding, it strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical. I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest in deed and word? Is it a true thing? No, truly. For the truest poetry is the most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear by poems may be said, as lovers they do feign. Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical? I do, truly. For thou swearest me thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign. Would you not have me honest? No, truly, unless thou wert hard-favored. For honesty coupled to beauty is to have honey a sauce to sugar.
Material fool.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods do make me honest. Truly. And to cast honesty upon a foul slut were to put good meat in an unclean dish. I am not a slut. Though I praise the gods, I am foul. Well, praised be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter, but be that as it will be, I will marry thee.
I would fain see this meeting.
Well, the gods give us joy.
I'll give her.
Good even. Good madam, what's you call it? You are very well met. God I'll do for your last company. I am very glad to see you again.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, ma'am, the horse his curb, and the falcon her bells, so man hath his desires. And as pigeons bill, so wedlock would be nibbling.
Go thou with me. Let me counsel thee.
Come, sweet Audrey. We must be married, or else we must live in Baudry. Lead on, counselor.
Never speak to me. I will weep.
Do, I prithee, but yet have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
Have I not cause to weep?
As good a cause as one would desire, therefore weep.
His very hair is of the dissembling colour.
Something browner than Judas's.
Yeah.
Marry, his kisses are Judas's own children.
His hair is of a good colour.
An excellent color. Your chestnut was ever the only color.
And his kisses are as full of sanctity as the touch of holy bread.
He hath bought a pair of cast lips of Diana. A nun of Winter's sisterhood kisses not more religiously. The very ice of chastity is in them.
I mean, why did he swear that he would come today and comes not?
Nay, certainly there's no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think he's not a kick-purse nor a horse stealer, but as for his verity in love, I do find him as concave as a covered goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but I think he is not in.
But you have heard him swear downright that he was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of a lover is no stronger than the word of a tapster. They are both the confirmer of false reckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duke, your father.
Oh, I met the Duke yesterday, and I had a good question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was, and I said, of as good as he. And so he smiled and let me go.
What?
I know. But what talk will your fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely, quite traverse athwart the heart of his lover. But all's brave that youth mounts and folly guides. Who comes here?
Mistress and master, you have oft inquired after the shepherd that complained of love, who you saw sitting by me on the turf.
Well, and what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I shall conduct you, if you will mark it.
Oh, come, let us remove. The sight of lovers feedeth those in love. Bring us unto that sight, and you shall say, I'll prove a busy actor in their play.
Phoebe? 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 Huh? Phoebe?
What sayest thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe! Oh, do not scorn me. Do not, Phoebe. Say you love me not, but do not so in bitterness. The commonest executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he that lives and dies by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly from thee because I would not injure thee. Thou sayest that there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty, sure, and very probable that eyes that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on atomies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now, I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if mine eyes can read, now let them kill thee. Now counterfeit to swoon. Why now fall down? And if thou canst not, for shame, for shame. Lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. Lean but upon a rush, the cicatrice and capable impression thy palm some moment keeps. But now mine eye, which I have darted at thee, hurts thee not. Nor I am sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh, Phoebe, if ever, as it ever may be near, you meet in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then you shall know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks, and pity me not, because till that time, I will not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? What? No, you have no beauty. As by my faith, I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed. Must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why, what means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than in the ordinary of nature's sail work. Well, it's my little life, I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No. Faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can entame my spirit to your worship. You, foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? Like foggy south, puffing with wind and rain, and you are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that make the world full of ill-favoured children. 'Tis not her glass, but you that flatters her. And out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees. And thank heaven, fasting, for a good man's love. For I must tell you, friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets. Cry the man mercy. Love him. Take his offer. Oh, God. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. To take her to thee, shepherd. Fare you well.
It's a sweet youth. I pray you chide a year together. I'd rather hear you chide than this man woo.
Fall in love with your foulness, and now she'll fall in love with my anger. If it be so, as fast as she answers thee with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Mistress, why do you look so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. Oh, if you will know my house, it is by the tuft of olive here, hard by. Come, sister. Will you go, sister?
Goran?
Shepherd, ply her hard. And will you go? Come, sister. Shepherdess, look on him better and be not proud. Though all the world could see there's none so abused in sight as he. Come to our flock.
Good shepherd, now I see thou sore of might. Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe.
Oh! What sayest thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me!
Wait, I am sorry for thee, gentle Silvius.
Oh, wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief and love, by giving love, your sorrow and my grief were both exterminated.
Thou hast my love. It's not that neighbourly.
I would have you! I am so sorry.
That were covetousness. Silvius, the time was that I hated thee. And yet it is not that I bear thee love. But since that thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure and employ thee too, but not for further recompense than on gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace, that I shall think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man that the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I live upon.
Knowest thou a youth that spoke to me a while?
Not very well, but I have seen him oft.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy. Yet he talks well. But what care I for words? Yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. 'Tis a pretty youth. Not very pretty. Sure, he's proud. And yet his pride becomes him. He will make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion. And quicker than his tongue did make offences, he did heal it up. He is not very tall.
No.
Yet for his years, he's tall. His leg is but so-so. And yet, as well, there was a pretty redness in his lip. A little riper and more dusky red than that mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just the difference betwixt the constant red and mingled damask. There be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone nearest to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not. Nor hate him not. And yet, I have more cause to hate him than to love him. What had he to do to chide at me? He said my eyes were black and my hair black, and now I am remembered scorned at me. Marvel what I answered not again. But that's all one. Admittance is no quittance. I will write him a very taunting letter, and thou wilt bear it. Wilt thou, Silvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter in my head and in my heart. I will be bitter with him and pass it short. Will you go, Silvius?
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
How now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You, a lover, and you serve me such another trick. Never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love. He that will take a minute and break it down into 1,000 parts and break a part of the 1,000 part of the minute in the affairs of love. It may be said of him that Cupid hath clapped him with the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, but, you know, and you be so tardy, come no more in my sight. I had as lief be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, a snail. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head. Better jointure, I think, than you make a woman. Besides, he brings his fortune with him.
What's that?
Why, horns. Which such as you are fain to be beholding to your wives for. But he comes armed with his destiny, and thus prevents the slander of his wife.
Virtue is no horn maker, and my Rosalind is virtuous.
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath a Rosalind of a better leer than you.
Come, woo me. Woo me. For now I'm in a holiday humour and like enough to consent. What would you say to me now, were I your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
No, you must speak first. And then when you were gravelled for lack of matter, then you could take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they spit. So for lovers lacking, God warn us, matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Oh, then she puts you to entreaty and begins another matter.
Who could be out being before his beloved mistress?
That would you be, and I were your mistress. Or I should think my honesty ranker than my wit.
What? Of my suit?
No, not out of your apparel. Yet out of your suit, am I not your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say you are, because then I will be talking of her.
Or then in her person, I say, I will not have you.
Then, in mine own person, I die.
No. Faith, die by attorney. The poor world is nearly 6,000 years old, and never in all that time has there been any man died in his own person, videlicet in a love cause.
Leander.
Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind of this mind, for I protest her frown might kill me.
By this hand it would not hurt a fly.
No.
But come, now I will be your Rosalind, in a more coming on disposition. And ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, faith, will I. Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Oh, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Well, then can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you shall be the priest. And marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando.
I cannot say the words.
Pray thee, Marius.
Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Why now? As fast as she can marry us.
Well, then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I might ask you for your commission, but I take thee, Orlando, for husband. Oh, there's a girl goes before the priest. And certainly, a woman's thought runs before her actions.
So do all thoughts, they are winged.
Now, tell me, how long would you have her after you have possessed her?
Forever and a day.
Say a day without the ever. No, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more newfangled than a parrot against rain, more clamorous than an ape, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing, like Diana in the fountain, and I will do so when you are inclined to be merry. I will laugh like a hyena, and I will do so when you are inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
Yeah, but by my life she will do as I do.
But she is wise.
The wiser, the waywarder. Else she would not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. If you make the doors upon a woman's wit, it will out at the casement. If you shut that, it will out at the keyhole. You stop that, it will fly out at the chimney with the smoke.
A man that hath such a wife with such a wit might say, wit, with her wilt. Oh, for these 2 hours, Rosalind, I must leave thee.
Oh, alas, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
No, actually, I must attend the Duke at dinner. But by 2 o'clock, I will be with thee again.
Aye. Go your ways, yeah, go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends warned me, and I expected no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me. But 'tis one cast away. And so, come death. 2 o'clock is your hour.
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
Well, by my troth, and in good earnest, and so God mend me, and by every pretty oath that is not dangerous, if you break one jot your promise, or come a minute after your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her that you call Rosalind, to ever be plucked out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore, beware my censure, and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert indeed my very Rosalind. So, adieu.
Time is the old justice that examines all such offenders. And let time try.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prate. We must have your doublet and hose plucked over your head and show the world what the bird hath done to her own nest.
Cause. My pretty little cause. But thou didst know how deep I am in love. But it cannot be sounded. My affection hath an unknown bottom, like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather, bottomless, in that as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
Nay, that wicked bastard of Venus, that was begot of thought, conceived of spleen, and born of madness, that blind rascally boy that abuses everyone's eyes because his own are out, let him be judge how deep I am in love. Tell thee, Aliena, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find a shadow and sigh till he comes.
And I'll sleep.
Although with me, I will counsel thee.
Lead on, counselor. Ready?
What say you now?
Oh, is it not past 2 o'clock in here much, Orlando?
Weren't you with pure love and troubled brain? He hath ta'en his bow and arrows and is gone forth to sleep. Who comes here?
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe did bid me give you this. You know not the contents, but as I guess by the stern brow and waspish action which she did use as she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. She says, I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, and that she could not love me were a man as rare as Phoenix. Odds my will, her love is not the hare that I do hunt. Why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd? Well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Oh, come, you are a fool. And turned into the extremity of love. I saw her hand. She has a leathern hand. A freestone-coloured hand. I verily did think that her old gloves were on, but 'twas her hands. She has a housewife's hand. Oh, but 'tis no matter. I say she never did invent this letter. It is a man's invention and his hand.
Sure it is hers. Read on.
She Phoebes me.
Oh.
Mark the rest, how the tyrant writes.
Oh, God.
Art thou God to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
All right, but why, thy godhead laid apart, warst thou with a woman's heart? I mean, did you ever hear such railing?
No, it's possible.
Whilst the eye of man did woo me, that could do no danger to me, meaning me a beast? If the scorn of your bright eye have power to make such love in my... if the
scorn of your bright eye and have power to make such love in my... Alas, in me, what stranger should there work in mine? 1 second. Was you chid me, I did love, how then might your prayers move? He that bears this love to thee, little knows this love in me, and by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make. Or else by him my love deny, and I'll dunning hand and I.
Call you this choicy?
Poor shepherd. No, do you pity him? He deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman?
Yes.
To make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee? Not to be endured. Go thy way to her. Oh, for I see love has made thee a tame snake. Say this to her from me, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee. And if she will not, I will not have her, unless thou entreat for her. So if you be a true lover, hence, and not a word. But here comes more company.
Good morrow. Fair ones. Pray you, if you know where in the pureless of this forest stands a sheepcote, fenced about with olive trees.
West of this place, down in the neighbour bottom, the rank of osiers by the murmuring stream, left on your right hand, brings you to the place. But at this hour, the house doth keep itself. There's none within.
If that an eye may profit by a tongue, then should I know you by description. Such garments, such years. The boy is fair, a female favor, and bestows himself like a ripe sister. The woman, low and browner than her brother. Are you not the owner of the house I did inquire for?
Oh, yeah, it is no boast, we are to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both. And to that youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame, if you will know of me, what man I am, and how, and why, and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again within an hour, and pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what befell. He cast his eye aside, and mark what object did present itself. Under an old oak, a wretched, ragged man lay sleeping. On his back, about his neck, a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, who with her head, nimble in threats, approached the opening of his mouth. But suddenly, seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with indented glides did slip away into a bush, under which bush's shade, a lioness, with udders all drawn dry, lay couching head on ground, with cat-like watch, when that the sleeping man should stir. For 'tis the royal disposition of that beast to prey on nothing that doth seem as dead. This seen, Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh! I have heard him speak of that same brother. He did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
and well, he might so do, for, well, I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him the food for the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back, and purpose so. But kindness, nobler than revenge, and nature, stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which, hurtling from miserable slumber, I awaked.
Are you his brother?
Was you he rescued?
Was you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
'Twas I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you the thing I was since my conversion so sweetly tastes.
But for the bloody napkin.
By and by. What? When from the first to last betwixt us two, tears our recountiments had most kindly bade, as how I came into that desert place. In brief, he led me to the gentle Duke to give me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who led me instantly unto a cave. There stripped himself, and here upon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled, and now he fainted and cried in fainting upon his Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, that you might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin, dyed in his blood, unto that shepherd youth who he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Why, how now? Ganymede! Sweet Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There's more in it. Cousin Ganymede?
Look, he recovers.
A widower at home.
We'll lead you thither. Pray you go with us?
Be of good cheer, gentle youth. You a man? You lack a man's heart.
So I do. I do confess it. Sirrah, a body would think that this was well counterfeited. Huh? Pray tell your brother how well I counterfeited.
This was not counterfeit. There is too great testimony in your complexion that this was a passion of earnest.
Oh, counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, take a good heart and counterfeit to be a man.
I do so. Oh, what a faith. I should have been a woman by rights.
Come, you look paler and paler. Pray you draw onwards. Sir, go with us?
That will I. For I must bear answer back how you excuse my brother, Rosalind.
Oh, I shall devise something. Pray you commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go? Yeah.
It's possible that in so little acquaintance you should like her. That but seeing you should love her, and loving will when wooing she should grant. And will you persevere to enjoy her?
Neither call the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing, nor her sudden consenting. But say with me, I love Aliena.
You love Aliena.
Say with her that she loves me. Consent with both that we may enjoy each other. It shall be to your good. For my father's house and all the revenue that was old Sir Rowland's will I estate upon you. and here live and die a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Thither will I invite the Duke and all's contented followers. Go you and prepare Aliennefer. Look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
Oh, no, it is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
I am greater wonders than that.
Oh?
Well, yeah, but...
I know where you are. Nay, but 'tis true. There was never anything so sudden but the fight of two rams. Or Caesar's thrasonical brag of I came, saw, overcame. For your brother and my sister. No sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, but they sought the remedy. And in these degrees have they built a pair of stairs to marriage, which they will climb incontinent. Or else be incontinent before marriage. They are in the very wrath of love. They will together. Clubs cannot part them.
Well, they shall be married tomorrow. I will bid the Duke to the nuptial. But oh, how bitter it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. But by so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness. By how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for. But it's all right.
Why then tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can no longer live by thinking.
I will weary thee then no longer with idle talking.
Okay.
Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose. Believe then, if you please, that I can do strange things.
I know.
I have, since I was 3-year-old, conversed with a magician.
What?
Most profound in his art, and yet not damnable. And, if you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marries Aliena, so shall you marry her.
Rosalind?
I know into what straits of fortune she is driven, and it is not impossible to me, if it seem not inconvenient to you, that I can set her before your very eyes tomorrow, human as she is, and without any danger.
Speaks them sober meanings.
By my life I do. Which I do tender dearly, though I say I'm a magician. Therefore, put you in your best array, and bid your friends, for if you will be married tomorrow, you shall. And to Rosalind, if you will. Oh, here comes a lover of mine, and a lover of hers.
Youth, you have done me much ungentleness to show the letter I had writ you.
But I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him. Love him. He worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what is to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so I for Ganymede.
I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
Is to be all made of faith and service. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so I for Ganymede.
I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
Is to be all made of fantasy. All made of passion and all made of wishes. All adoration, duty and observance. All humbleness, all passion, all patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, all observance. So am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
So am I for Rosalind.
So am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
What did you speak to? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not hear. Yeah, it's true.
Oh, I pray you no more of this. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow meet me all together. I will marry you. If ever I marry a woman, and I'll be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you, if ever I satisfy man, and you'll be married tomorrow. I will content you, if what pleases you contents you, and you'll be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So fare you well. I have given you commands.
I'll not fail you, if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised?
Sometimes do believe and sometimes do not. As those that fear they hope and know they fear. I don't know.
Patience once more, whilst our compact is urged. Duke, you say that if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando here.
That would I, had I kingdoms to give with her.
Orlando, and you say you will have her if I bring her.
That would I, were I of all kingdoms king.
Phoebe, you say that you'll marry me if I be willing.
That will I. Should I die an hour after?
But if you do refuse to marry me, you'll give yourself to this most faithful shepherd.
So's the bargain.
Sylvius, you say you'll have Phoebe if she will.
So to have her and death were both one thing.
I have promised to make all these matters even. Keep you your word, O Duke, to give your daughter. You yours, Orlando, to receive his daughter. Keep you your word, Phoebe, to marry me, or else refusing me to wed this shepherd. Keep your word, Sylvius, that you'll marry her if she refuse me. And from hence I go to make these doubts all even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favour.
My lord, the first time that I ever saw him, we thought he was a brother to your daughter, but my good lord, the boy is forest-born, and hath been tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by his uncle, whom he reports to be a great magician, obscured in the circle of this forest.
There is sure another flood sword, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here comes another pair of very strange beasts, which in all tongues are called fools.
Salutation and greetings to you all.
Good, my lord, bid this fellow welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I've so often met in the forest. He hath been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have been politic with my friend, smooth with mine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors. I have had 4 quarrels, and am like to have thought, what?
Good, my lord, like this fellow.
I like him very much. He is very swift and sententious.
Yes.
Marriage. Then is there mirth in heaven, when earthly things made even atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven hath brought her, yea, brought her hither, that thou mightst join her hand with his, whose heart within his bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, you.
I'll have no father if you not be he. I'll have no husband if you not be he. Nor ne'er wed woman if you not be she.
Peace, ho! I bar confusion. 'Tis I must make conclusion of these most strange events. Here's 6 that must take hands to join in Hymen's bands, if truth holds true content. You and you, no cross shall part. You and you are heart in heart. You to this man must accord, or have a woman to your lord. Whilst a wedding hymn we sing, feed yourselves with questioning, that reason wonder may diminish, how thus we met, and these things finish.
Woo! My dear niece, welcome art thou to me. Even daughter, welcome in no less degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine, thy faith, my fancy to thee, doth combine.
Let me bring tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power, which were on foot in his own conduct, purposely to take his brother here, and put him to the sword, and to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where, meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from his enterprise and from the world, his crown bequeathing to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to them again that were with him exiled.
Oh, welcome offer fairly to thy weddings. To one whose land's withheld, and to the other, a land itself at large. A potent dukedom. First, in the forest, let us do those rites which here were well began and well begot. And after, all that happy number that have endured shrewd days and nights with us shall share the good in our returned fortune, according to the measure of their state. Meantime, forget this new form dignity and fall into our rustic revelry. Play music, and you brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy to the measure's fall.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, Frederick had put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court.
Yeah.
To him will I. Out of these convertites, there is much matter to be heard and learned. You to your former honour I am bequeath. Your patience and your virtue well deserves it. Orlando, you to a true love that your true fate doth merit. Oliver, you to your land and love and great allies. Silvius, you to a long and well-deserved bed. So all to your pleasures. I am for other than for dancing measures.
Proceed. Proceed. We'll begin these rites. As we do trust they'll end in true delight.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note into the sweet bird's throat. Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note into the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come, come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither, come, come hither, come hither, come hither, come, come hither.